It's a wet Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to draw this guy. I think I have this every now and again. I'm this sort of reset. I've talked about the reset thing, doing the reset, or deliberately doing a reset before, but this time it was, I think, the culmination of the the oil pastels and the, in a way, enforced. But I did it because I wanted to talk about the contrivance of style, and I think it did more harm than good, to be fair. And it was for me, and it was a little bit of a slippery slope. I think what happened after that was because of the requirement of the medium, of the things. I didn't want to do realistic. I couldn't. I ain't got enough colours to do all that kind of stuff. So I'd not wanted to do that, and if you saw them, they're a very graphic feel about them, and so I kind of forced myself to use them in a particular way. And when I came back to doing the charcoals, in fact, just a drawing full stop, and I'd switched paper and all that kind of thing. So I ended up doing the things that were too realistic and not really my bag. I don't mind realism, but not real, or something that looks realistic, but not realism. So I'm not really trying to make photographic like quality stuff or replicas, and but I was doing that, and it requires a certain level of focus, both in terms of the medium, the way you use the medium, and the the materials, and the length of time it takes to do it, and all that kind of thing. And I'm not really interested in that kind of stuff. Not anymore. I might have been one bit, but I was doing it when I did it before. It was all about trying to impress people and trying to sell stuff and all that. But now I'm not that fussed. So it's different now. So, then for whatever reason, I did the bearded guy. I did the guy in the glasses. The guy. It was, I don't know, late before I left the studio. I just did one more drawing. I wanted to. It was the day that I did the 3 videos last week. I think last Monday or Tuesday, what it was. So I did this last one after a day of doing all these different themes. I did this last, just drew it, just wanted to draw it, that's all. And it was pure expression. It was just a pure response thing. And then suddenly I thought, yeah, reset. This is what's happening. This is where I'm coming from. And the following day, I think you may have seen it. I did this one, right, in the morning. It was, and immediately I saw what was happening. This sort of stuff with the beard and just the shaping and things. And suddenly, it's no longer about being able to produce. Because that's the thing. I think for me, I think it's like people sort of go on a journey with this stuff, and it's sort of art, making art, full stop, and decisions. I talked about that the other day about the compromise or the excuse thing, and people go on this sort of this journey of skill, technique, style journey, and they're all sort of connected and consequential. And for me, all those things are relevant, but they're not primary, if you know what I mean. They're like they're not the intention. They are just a consequence. So skill is a consequence of intention, and so is technique and style. But whilst I get back into, whilst I slip into the production stuff, I'm in the traditional traps that everybody else falls into. I'm in that, oh, it's not, it's not precise enough, or it's not, exact enough, or, just the usual sort of, it's not blended smooth enough, or whatever it is that we all fall into. I mean that, and it just, it's agony. It just reminds me of what it was like before. It was never good enough. It was never precise enough. It was never finished well, or whatever. There's just endless reasons why it wasn't good, and then beating myself up over it, and then ultimately stopping. But as I said, I felt that, and I do feel that when I drift towards the technique stuff, towards the doing thing. And I sort of talked about this morning in the lesson this morning. I said, it's just a thing. I seem to, if I'm not careful, and I've talked about infection before, but I think that's probably what it is. It's just sort of I'm infected by other people's approach, their work, or their subjects, or their whatever. I'm affected by it, and then it then gets into me, and I'm just not happy at all. But then, for whatever reason, and I think it's probably the what happened, when I returned and I started to think about it differently. I think it's that then kicks in and says, hang on a minute, I'm doing this because I like doing it. I love doing this. It's a joy to do it. If the joy starts to go, if it slips, the joy slips, then I won't carry on doing it. So I got to be careful. I got to be careful not to let the infection take hold. And then that kind of flushes out. And invariably, what I do is, like I did with the glasses, the guy with the glasses. Invariably, what I do is that it's just a pure response, regardless of how it turns out. It's nothing to do with how it turns out. It's just pure response. And invariably, as I said this morning in the lesson, invariably it works out, and that's kind of for me the kind of sign that it's right, and I should do that. But it's a strange thing. I think it's strange because it's like it seems like it's anti drawing, or anti doing it, traditionally, and all that kind of thing. It's not at all. It's just that I think it's really important that the primary reason for doing this is the joy that's in it. So it has to come from a place of joy. And if it becomes a technical, extravaganza, and it requires great skill and technique, then that's fair enough. But in the first instance, it's just about the joy of doing it. And whatever it is that you can lock onto, or I can lock onto, to experience that joy, because it's purely a selfish thing. It's not. I don't do it for anybody else, or any. I don't care what anybody else thinks or wants from this. It's for me. I'm doing this for me, not for anybody else. So why would I care? Why would I bother? So that really is kind of reaffirming the fact that it is just about the joy of doing it for me, and I will. If I can exploit that, because that's the thing. I think that and I said that in the lesson this morning when Picasso said about the best way to draw is to close your eyes and sing. I think that was one of those confirmation things. It's like I've said this about David Bailey, saying that just because you can paint doesn't mean you're an artist, when he was talking about Sargent. And I think those are the kind of things that reaffirm for me why I do it, why the necessity to experience joy. Yeah, the thing is about the joy thing is that you can't it's not like it's a, you know, you're on a course, you're at art college, and they say, right, it's gonna be a joy to do this, isn't it? And we're all gonna have great fun, and it's just gonna really enjoy doing it. It all looks a bit serious to me, you know. It's all, well, I've seen these ateliers and whatever. It's pretty serious stuff, you know. And I think, oh, that's not really a place, you know. And struggle, they use words like struggle as well, artistic struggle, and tormented artists and things. And I always think that, well, if that's how it is for the professionals, you know, the people that are doing this as a vocation, as a, you know, a life choice, I don't want to do that. That's not for me. I don't want to be in that kind of torment, because that looks what it looks like. It just looks like it's a torment to do these things. So, as I said, I have to every now and again just come back to what it is that ignites my fire. I've got to come back to that, and the first and foremost is it's the joy, and then whatever happens from that joy is is the second part to that. And I can't. The thing is, I can't say how it's going to work, and that for me is another one of those things. And this is, I always have this problem with, you know, it's a portrait. It's kind of what it's going to be. It's going to look like somebody. That's the first and foremost. That's what it's going to do. And I'm talking about this being a joyous response, and it just, I think, well, it doesn't really add up, does it? Because surely the idea is that it becomes a technical explosion of expertise, you know, and in order to position the eye sockets right, and you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'm just thinking it's not. You know, I probably think that I'm more of a fine artist in the sense that it's not a I'm not trying to make copies of faces, and whether or not that's something that I kind of use to justify what I do. I don't know, but I have the with some of the courses that I've done, it's like I've always said things like, it doesn't matter how it turns out. And a lot of people that go on a portrait course want to do exactly that, create portraits. So how it turns out does matter to them. But like I say, it's strange. It's almost like a contradiction. Of course, you want it to look like somebody. It has to have the eyes in the right place and the nose the right size. Now, of course, you want that, but it's almost like that. That's the enemy. That's the thing that will, you know, thinking like that will be your downfall. It's somebody said to me the other day. It's like if you the biggest problem with most people have is trying to make a portrait, trying to make like so and so. The thing, I mean, it's amplified by expectation. Because if you, like me, I when I first started doing this, you just look at everybody that makes something that you like, and unfortunately, that then poisons you towards your own thing, because then you've got to try and work towards this ideal that you've identified. So that's the dilemma, and it's as I say, amplified. It amplifies the expectation of an outcome, and how you get around that, I have no idea. I mean, as I said, my thing is born out of the 30-year gap thing. So I can say to people, you need to fix your mindset. You need to not focus on the perfection of things, that it must be precise and in the right place. No, you don't need to focus on those things. But it's easy for me to say that, so because most people will not get that at all, and they'll just be too busy trying to get the eyes in the right place, and the ultimately tones and everything else. So, but as I said, it's I think if I was to tell anybody about this, that would be the most important thing. That it is to do with the way you feel about doing this, what's in your head when you're doing this, as opposed to how you do it. So, why you do it and how you feel about what you do, as opposed to how you do it. How you do it is just a consequence about how you feel about doing it. That's the thing. So if it's a struggle, if it's not, not a joyful thing, and you're fighting with it and all that, you've seen it. If you've done as many portraits as the rest of us, because you probably have, and got portraits, and you've struggled with it, you know what that results in. So what about taking away the struggle? And most people say, oh, well, you just take away the struggle by learning about anatomy, or using a method, or even tracing. It takes away the struggle, doesn't it? But as I said, I kind of I'm lucky, and I was going to say blessed, but let's just say I'm lucky that I was able to reset, but I'm cursed in that the reset took 30 years. So, I would have been in a different place now if I hadn't decided to stop. So I'm not sure what place I'd have been in, and whether or not, you see, that the problem was that I did what everybody else did, and that was, I think it was about technique, and it was about materials, and I learned to do things in a certain way. But so where would I have ended up? Because I got close to the local groups, the Yorkshire Watercolour Society and all that. Would I have ended up being a member of that and doing the usual sort of boat scenes? And I think I might have done that, because I can't think of anything worse. I wouldn't. Just how many people that paint boat scenes are there, or a woodland scene, or whatever it might be? How many? Just painting scenes. And I don't think I'm a scene painter. I don't think I'm a scene painter now. Whether or not I back then I was or not, I don't know. And I would have done it to sell, because that was the primary reason I needed to feed the kids, So maybe I would have just been a scene painter, painting the pretty scenes, if I'd carried on doing it. But I think I kind of knew that I didn't want to do that, which is why I didn't carry on doing it. I think I knew that I didn't want to be a scene painter. I'm using a little piece of charcoal because for some reason it's very liberating to have something that's not a pencil, you know, not a traditional kind of this kind of thing, even a longer thing. When it's a longer piece of charcoal like that, for instance, it's not a. I'm worried that I slip into doing it, you know, the practical stuff. So, or the technique stuff. So, by using a little piece of charcoal like this, it's definitely a different control factor. You know, there's no way I'm going to be able to be precise with it. So, because I am trying to retain or return to the just doing it thing, not getting involved in the technique thing, and these things happening. Marks are different, you know. I mean, I'm doing it now. I know I was banging on about this before the other week doing this thing. I get a mixture of the attack, you know, a mixture of attack. So there's a kind of there's that kind of thing which is close quarter stuff. Then there's the arm thing, which is the bigger stuff when I'm first starting out. But with a little piece of charcoal like this, and it's quite soft as well. Okay, it's a completely different. It feels completely different. You know, it feels more spontaneous and more fluid. It might be the charcoal. It might be the fact that it was a longer piece. I'd done quite a few, obviously. Obviously, it was longer, but I'd done quite a few with this particular piece, and I'm reluctant to throw it away. But I don't have a means to extend the thick stuff because it's quite thick. It's a centimeter thick. So, but I'm reluctant to throw it away. As I say, I think it's just interesting the way it affects the marks that I make. That's all. And it's certainly not, you know, the sort of the practical thing, the details thing. You know, it's not. I can't really do that with it. But the other thing as well is somebody just said about making, you know, portraits. What would be the primary tools? And I said use charcoal. So this was the. I mean, this is the paper that's doing this, but this was the technical thing that I didn't like. I like this hair down here, but I don't like the blended face and things. And that's what I was worried about. So I was doing that, and then along came the glasses, and then along came this guy. So, and this is where I live. I don't live in the finished, smooth stuff. I live in this kind of thing and this kind of thing. It just feels more at me, and I do it only for me. That's what I said earlier. It's just purely selfish. I don't do it for anybody else. So if I'm not happy with it, then doing it or the outcome, then I'm not going to do it. And if I'm not getting joy out of it, then I'm definitely not going to do it. So, which is really the reason for the reset. Even though I'm not 100% conscious of it sometimes. I have in the past, you probably heard me on about it sometimes, I have in the past just said, right, I'm going to do a reset today. It's going to be all about resetting my my approach, my mental state. I think also with this is, and this more spontaneous response thing, is that I get things happening that I didn't really intend to happen, and I've just got to try and exploit those things. On the bearded guy I just showed, it was the beard. It wasn't. It was just me trying to, work out where the beard was. But the way that the marks evolved as a result of that, this thing here, that's just, I've got to be careful not to lose stuff like that, because it's that kind of thing that makes it work. It's like with the hair on this one, you can see it. I've just got to be careful not to lose that, because those are the things. Starting to like draw it, and I'm trying to then put you can see it loses it. It hasn't got that there. Because a lot of people would say that, this is not how you draw portraits. It's not, it's not a accepted way. That because of this, as I say, this skill, technique, and style thing, a lot of people will have a definite. And that's probably the number one problem, I think, is that people have a definite idea of what a portrait should be, and have to work towards that. The skill, technique, and style thing, and they have to work towards that. And you can fail so many times on the way to that, can't you? And we've all been there. It's like, start again, and practice, and start again, and keep a sketchbook of noses and fingers and whatever else, And but that's that. I don't know. That's the very reason why I don't do it. I don't fall into that trap. Like I said, I've got to do this for the joy, and if it's a struggle, because I can't meet my expectations, then I don't want to do it. I really don't want to do it at all. I'll find something else. Start playing golf. No, I can't imagine playing golf. I'd be absolutely useless. I can just see it now. There's a golf course about half a mile away from me. I could walk there. But number one, I couldn't afford it. And number two, I just can't. I can't do it. I tell you why. I can't do the adding up. Somebody explained to me about the handicap thing. And I was lost. I was lost within seconds of him trying to explain it to me. So that and darts, I'd be useless. I can't add up. But and I'm sure there's software that could do it. I know there's big investment in things like golf software for your phone. That works out everything out for you. But that would cost money as well, wouldn't it? So. But like I say, I'll stick to this, and I'll just continue to do it for the joy. that's what it is. I'll just continue. I'll just do this. I'll be all right with this. I don't have to go out when it's raining. It's nice and dry, and that's it. And why would I not want that? So apart from fixing the hair, I'm done. But the speed of this, the feel of this, this is all to do with mindset. This is the thing I'm trying to get across, because I'm in a different place. Whereas that highly finished one you saw, that's a day's work. For me, I mean, it's a lot of people will do it a lot quicker than that. But I'm still in the, it has to look like a drawing thing. You know, when they make them look like photographs and all that. I'm not really a fan of that. Even if I'm doing the technical stuff, if I'm doing it in a finished sort of way, it still has to feel like a drawing. So there's going to be visible lines in it, if you know what I mean, and marks. So whether it's the tonal application or the definition of something. So it will always feel like a drawing. But like I say, I think I'm kind of done with that now. I'm just going to look at the hair and make sure that, you know, that thing about, does the head fit under this hair? That one, does this head fit under this hair? Almost. I think the hair is a little bit small, but it's almost there. I've got to really resist as well. You can see the nose and all the rest of it there. I've got to resist making that, you know, losing the lines and making it more precise and all that. And I don't want to. So I've got to resist that. It's just got to be like it is. The same with the eye. Look at that eye. It's fabulous, that eye. So I'm going to really be careful that I don't lose all that kind of stuff. It's the same. That eye is the same as the beard. As that eye is as well. It's the same as the beard on the other one. I'm going to be careful that I don't lose it. And people would, you know, I mean, they'd say, "Oh, you're going to draw it now. This is just a sketch. You're going to draw it now." It's a long way from being a sketch. You know, it's the last thing it is a sketch. Although some people might disagree, I suppose. And that's the thing, I think, that there's the reason why I get a lot of resistance and a lot of people not liking what I do, is that it doesn't meet the traditional confines of what things are. You know, there are definitions of what is a portrait and what is a sketch, what is a finished portrait. There's lots of definitions that people have worked hard to establish. And what I do is it sort of questions those things, which is why I get these people who will say, "Oh, I've been an artist for a long time, and what you do is a lot of rubbish." You know, I mean, just like the guy that wanted to run me out of town. You know, I don't know if he still watches these, but if you do, it didn't work. But I wouldn't rest until you were no longer on YouTube. I think that's what he said. So, can you imagine that? What a complete lunatic. Live and let live, I'm afraid. If this is how I do it, this is how I do it. If you do it a different way, that's fine. It's not a problem, is it? We can get along, can't we? I think the problem is when people start saying someone else is wrong, you know, and I get that. There's a couple of the people that pop up on my stream, and it's like, this is the only way to, if you want to do it, this is the only way to do it, we'll say. And with force and with aggression and all that. I hate that. No, there isn't. There's loads of ways to do it. But there are people that are very dogmatic in this regard, and they think that they're right. And I suppose in their world they are. Right. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to sharpen some of the things up. What happened with the guy with the beard was that I did sharpen the stuff up in the after I'd done it. But the problem was I did his hair, the hair at the top there, and this bit. I started doing that. And I'm going to go back to it and just break it up anyway, because it looks a bit naff. I can't think of a better word. So I'm going to probably fix that, but I'm going to be careful I don't do the same with this. There's just, I think I'm going to come back with a finer piece of charcoal, just so I can, if this one will work, so I can just get a little bit more precision in places. This is not going to work, I don't think. Oh, I don't know that. I don't know. Yeah, that'll do. The rest of it's going to stay. It's just too nice that I like all that. Yeah, done. That is not working at all on that, so I'll try this. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to leave it. Some things I need to consider, not necessarily fix, because I think it's, like I said earlier, it's just one of those things. If I'm not careful, I could lose all the spontaneity. The hair, for instance, I could lose the feeling that's got if I'm not careful. So I'm not going to try too hard with those things. So I'll consider what needs to be fixed, whether it makes an awful lot of difference when I fix something up. That's the thing. How much difference would it make if I did that sort of thing? If it won't make any difference, then it won't get done. It's just that I'm looking at that there. You see the tonal difference. There is a lighter part there, but this here and the charcoal wants sharpening to be able to apply a thin layer onto it there. But that's about it, I think. And there's just sort of a little bit of a little darker there. It's not much, is it? You know, I mean, even a few marks. It's weird with charcoal. Even a few lines can alter the tonal value. You got to work at it with graphite, but with charcoal, you can put a few marks and suddenly the tones change. Because the other thing as well is sometimes I don't mind that. I don't mind it being slightly off, or you know, there's a darker bit somewhere that shouldn't be there and all. I don't mind that. It's a general, as I said earlier, it's a sort of general feeling that I'm interested in. Anyway, so I'm going to leave it to that. I can see me now starting to fiddle with the mouth, so I'm going to be careful not to lose it because of that. These rubbers are not that brilliant. Okay.